Twins, his managerial counterpart. And the Twins Menards batting order for the last game this year against the Toronto Blue Jays. Danny Santana in the leadoff spot. Brian Dozier's had a great series with a couple of home runs. Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, yep. Kendrys Morales playing his third straight game. Oswaldo Arcia, Trevor Plouffe back in the lineup. Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Nunez gets his first start at shortstop for the Twins this year.
And they're going to be facing right-hander Marcus Stroman. He's making his third start of the season. You see his numbers right there, 3 wins. A little bit high ERA, that's a little deceiving. He got some of that as a relief pitcher. He's pitched quite well as a starter so far.
Blue Jays, like every other team in baseball, beset by injury, so Stroman got a chance in the rotation coming out of the bullpen. Northland Ford defense for Toronto. Melky Cabrera in left, Anthony Goes in center, Jose Bautista in right. Brett Lowry, Jose Reyes, Steve Tollefson getting the start at second base. Adam Lind at first. And the Blue Jays carry 3 catchers, and we will have seen all 3 with Kratz getting the start. Eric Kratz in the finale here today. Day off tomorrow, and the Twins finishing a stretch, the most you can have, 20 games in 20 days according to the collective bargaining agreement. And the Twins have just 7 wins in the first 19 games. It's been a stretch that has seen them go from above the 500 mark to below the 500 mark. Danny Santana, Dozier, Mauer will hit here in the first against Stroman. Up and away, ball 1.
Santana has reached safely in both previous games here at Rogers Center. The Twins scoring 2 runs in both games early.
1-1. Lifted foul down the left field line, 1-2. Up the middle and through, another hit for Santana. I asked Ron Gardenhire this morning whether in his managerial career he's ever had a player come out of the minor leagues, make his major league debut, hit the ground with both feet running, start hitting right away, and not stop for a month. And he couldn't come up with anyone.
Yeah. It's been impressive. And again, Danny staying hot, setting the table for Brian Dozier.
In the opener here 2 nights ago, Santana homered, Dozier homered. In the game last night, Santana walked, Dozier homered. Didn't figure he'd be getting much in the inner half of the plate after the first 2 games. His opening at bat, and the first pitch misses outside, ball 1. Popped up right side. Tollefson circling under it. 1 down. One on, 1 out for Joe Mauer.
The Mall of America scouting report from Marcus Stroman. We mentioned the different pitches that he has: fastball, curveball, cutter, a changeup, and he'll come right at you. This young man has a lot of confidence in himself. He does not pick the corners too often. He'll put the ball in play and say, hit it if you can. So Blue Jays really like his makeup. He's done well so far.
You gotta like that last part, don't you? He'll come at you. Somebody like you, I can imagine there's nothing more frustrating than a pitcher who doesn't do that.
You've seen too many guys pitch counts climbing so early in the game, and you wonder why a Phil Hughes has done so well. Here's a guy that comes at you. He says, here it is, hit it if you can. Now granted, everybody doesn't have the gift to possess the live arm, but still, throw the strikes, get them over, make your fielders involved in the game early.
Very close at first. Lind, a left-handed first baseman, and we've seen how much of an advantage that can be on a pickoff play.
Stroman got quick legs, quick feet, and Danny Santana does a good job getting back. Jamie Hirsch did a nice job with Brian Dozier, Paul Mahler, talk about base running. The real speed guy on this lineup is the guy at first base right here, and we'll see how he progresses with the ability to steal bases. You know that he's got the speed to do it, but there's an art to reading pitchers, knowing when to go. And Danny Santana could become one of the game's best if he can master that art.
And Lauer takes a strike. 0-2.
This is the guy in the lineup the Twins need to start doing what he's done in the past. Joe Mauer's just been through a pretty tough go here in the last month. And if he could get heated up a little bit, it really will change the dynamics of this lineup.
That's down the line, a little twist foul. But what we've seen, Jack, is Joe, when he was winning batting titles, would try to work deep in the count, take pitches, get the count 3-1, even 3-2 before he'd get so many of his hits. So what teams have done now, in addition to the struggles he's having, they've just gone after him. Strike one, strike two. He's had so many 0-2 or 2-strike counts in this bad stretch. Low throw, and that might have been the only thing that kept Santana from being picked off.
I'm going to relate it to a player in my era, Wade Boggs, who for years would take strike one every single time. He would take at least 1 to 2 pitches every at bat to lead off the at bat. And as he matured, he realized everybody's throwing the ball right down the middle for him, trying to get ahead in the count. Not everybody could do that, but the veteran pitchers could. And Wade adjusted as he got older and started hitting that first pitch a lot. And that made it so much tougher for all of us pitchers in the league to get him out. I wonder how long it'll be before Joe makes that adjustment, or if he ever will. He's had a good plan. It's worked for him. And that's what's hard for him to change.
2 strikes, another foul. Santana took off on that pitch but stumbled. It might have been a good thing that Mauer flipped the pitch foul. Mauer strikes out for out number 2. And that'll bring up Josh Willingham. In today's game, we are participating in the home run challenge. Every home run in this game will raise money for prostate cancer research, and you can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. Twins organization is also getting involved. They'll be donating another $10,000 for each home run hit by a Twins player this week, and $1,000 for every strikeout. Willingham at the plate. Of course, none of these Twins hitters have ever seen Stroman before in any capacity, either as a starter or a reliever. Willingham has kept his batting average over 300. He takes a first pitch strike.
Stroman signed just a couple years ago by the Blue Jays and really spent the majority of his minor league career in Double-A. He hasn't spent much time in their Triple-A affiliate Buffalo. So the guys who have played in Rochester really haven't matched up against him very often either.
Foul back and out of play, and now Stroman gets ahead of Willingham. 0-2. The key offensive players for the Twins have been Santana, Willingham, and Arcia, and now here in this series, Kendrys Morales. Players who weren't contributors in the first 2 months of the year. Just outside.
Marcus Stroman attended Duke University, where he was drafted by the Blue Jays.
1-2 to Willingham. Blasted to left. 2-run home run for Josh Willingham, and another 2-run first inning for the Twins.
Well, that's a good recipe right there for the Twins. They lost the first game here at Rogers Center, came back to win yesterday's game on a shutout. In all 3 games, the Twins starting pitcher has taken the mound with at least a 2-run lead.
Santana scores another first inning run. A no doubter to left, and now Morales takes high, ball one. 3 hits in 8 at bats, and we were cautioned on Sunday that he may not play at all for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Morales, through Bobby Cuellar, appealed to Ron Gardenhire to play Monday night against R.A. Dickey, and then things went well. He wanted to play again last night, and basically he's in the lineup now until he says otherwise.
Exactly. I get a kick out of the whole process. You know, at his press conference when he signed with the Twins, he himself admitted, I don't know when I'll be ready. It took him a day to figure that out.
Fly ball center field, and Goes is under it. And that's the 3rd out. Another hit by Santana, another first inning home run today from Josh Willingham, and it's 2-0 Twins. Up 2-0 after a half inning. John Gibbons saw his team rarely lose a series to the Cardinals here. Were shut out in the last 2 games of the St. Louis series. Hoping that his team can rebound with this lineup to win this series against the Twins. It's brought to you by Menards. Jose Reyes leading off. Melky Cabrera, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion with the big swing of the bat 2 nights ago for Toronto. And Adam Lynn, Brett Laurie, Eric Kratz, Steve Tollefson, and Anthony Goes.
The numbers for Phil Hughes, seeking his 7th win of the year, his 13th start on the mound, with a 2-run lead early, just like his previous 2 teammates.
And a first pitch strike to Reyes. Fly ball center field. Santana coming in. Dozier going out, and it's Dozier making the catch. A little baseball showing through the webbing of the glove.
Danny Santana plays quite deep. Reacts better coming in than going back, but this ball looked initially like it was going to be kind of a routine center field fly ball, but it just went up and up and up and ended up Brian Dozier, the second baseman, has to make the play on it.
It looked like Dozier had a little chat with Santana about, hey, don't be afraid to call me off.
Come on in here. I don't have to run this far.
You're faster than I am. You should have gone there.
Younger.
1-0 to Melky Cabrera. Another split hit, switch hitter on top of this Toronto batting order, like Reyes. Fouled back. Hughes in his last start said afterwards he just didn't feel sharp. He had a hard time getting the ball to go where he wanted it to go. 6 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, because 3 of the 6 hits were home runs. And Hughes has done a really good job of avoiding it. Here's a ball hit deep to left center. Willingham on the track. Out number 2. Hughes coming into that start had given up just 4 home runs all year long, and he gave up 3 in one game to the Astros. Northland Ford defense for the Twins, and the outfielders figure to be kept busy. Willingham in left, Santana in center, Arcia in right. Infielders might be kept busy too. Plouffe, Nunez, Dozier, Mauer, Suzuki behind the plate. Bautista makes a strike. No mystery involved here. Phil Hughes has pitched more games against the Blue Jays, more innings than any other team, because he used to pitch for the Yankees. Grounded to the right side and through, and Bautista has a 2-out single.
Bautista really has done a good job of countering the shift this year for the Blue Jays. A lot of teams have really shifted to the left side. He typically hits all his home runs to left field, and Bautista has said, I can go to right, and he's done a great job. A lot of his hits have been against the shift to the right side.
Here's Encarnacion, our cold hard fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Here's what the Twins pitching staff has been up against here the last couple of games. Chopped up the line. It's apparent the Blue Jays are trying to attack Phil Hughes early. He's got strike 1 in his 4th at bat. He's only thrown 8 pitches.
3 of the last 4 games the Blue Jays have been shut out, which is pretty remarkable that their number rankings are still there and they haven't scored any runs in 3 of the last 4.
A casual flip to first as Bautista was leading off. High fly to left. 4 completed at bats. 3 outs on a total of 9 pitches, and the Twins have a 2-0 lead. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Century Link, your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Beautiful city of Toronto. The Twins typically have not done well here, but they're hoping to win this series. 2-1. Oswaldo Arcia starts the second by taking ball 1 outside. Arcia, Plouffe, and Suzuki. Swing and a miss. As impressive as Stroman has been in the rotation, opponents have hit .321 against him. Just he's pitching for a team that has a lineup that can overcome a lot of mistakes. And he made one to Willingham in the first inning, and it cost him 2 runs. This one down the left field line. It's going to be a long run for Cabrera, and it's 3 feet foul. 1-2 to Arcia. It's Kids Day here at the Rogers Center, and they expect a near capacity crowd here today, which is nice to see.
Roof closed because of the moisture outside, and I've been in these games where it can get quite loud with the youth in the ballpark.
1-2. The ball blasted to left center field toward the gap, deep, and it one hops goes over the wall for a ground rule double. Now it appeared that ball actually hit the warning track, but it might have very well bounced high over the wall off the turf itself.
Well, we'll see if Marcus Stroman starts to adjust. He's pretty much been like Phil Hughes, attacking with the fastball, but the Twins have put the bats on the ball. That one kind of off the end shows how strong Oswaldo Arcia is, going the opposite field. One hop in the ground rule double.
Here is Trevor Plouffe, got the day off yesterday. Fastball, strike 1.
His battering mate Eric Kratz coming over from the National League, and they say he calls a lot of fastballs. He really, that National League style of baseball, loves to use the number 1 a lot. Of course, you got a young pitcher out there who's going to trust his catcher, so we'll see how it all works out.
And now 1-1.
Talking to Blue Jays pitching coach Pete Walker about yesterday's starter Jay Happ. The fact that Kratz has caught most of his games that he's done well, and Navarro called a lot of breaking balls yesterday for Happ instead of the fastball that has gotten success.
Arcia safe. Kratz throwing to Tollison. You know, the Twins knocked Happ out last night in the 4th inning, but you think about it, you wonder whether the 3rd inning wasn't really the critical inning. Here you see from his knees,
almost
going
takes
right over Stroman.
Almost takes his pitcher's head off.
2-1 to Trevor Plouffe. Foul back. You know, the Twins didn't score in that 3rd inning last night, but they made Happ work so hard to get out of that inning. And then they had the threat, bases loaded, nobody out, and Happ got a strikeout, got another strikeout. Looked like he was going to get out of that 4th inning, and then the chopper in front of the 3rd baseman, and before he knew it, 2 runs were scored, and he was out of the ball game. 2-2 to Plouffe, nobody out, and a strikeout. Second strikeout for Stroman, 1 away. Owning Twins season tickets provides a guaranteed seat and a whole lot more. Season ticket holders receive a variety of experiences, benefits, and exclusive access, including All-Star Game ticket purchase priority. The best way to enjoy the All-Star summer is to join the Twins season ticket family. Find out more by calling 800-33-TWINS and ask about the season ticket package that fits your budget, and we'll see you at the All-Star Game. Might see Kurt Suzuki at the All-Star Game. Keeps maintaining his batting average at or slightly over 300. 29 runs batted in. Competition isn't as stiff as it has been in recent years, with Mauer now at first. Matt Wieters has been hurt. Derek Norris of the Oakland A's will provide some new blood behind the plate. 1-0 to Suzuki. Pick off to second. Arcia back. Well, it's twice that Stroman's thrown there, and once the Kratz was thrown there.
Blue Jays being very careful. They know that 3rd run is very critical at this point in the game. Pulled
down the line, and Arcia is going to advance with Laurie momentarily interrupting his throw across the diamond, thinking about putting a tag on Arcia, and he advances to third with 2 away.
Now, Laurie thought about it and realized, I might not get him. I better get the ball to first base and take the out. He's got a strong arm. Very, very good defender. You can see that momentary thought of that Laurie trying to get Arcia and deciding to take the out instead.
The Twins need a 2-out hit here from Nunez to take advantage of Arcia's leadoff double. Ball 1. Nunez came to the Twins figuring to be in the mix at short for the Twins. Gabriel Florimon was struggling at the time, but because Eduardo Escobar's played so well there, this is Nunez's first start at short for the Twins. 2-0. Another player that wasn't with the Twins in April, and he's been a key guy in May into June. You can say that of Arcia, Morales, Willingham, Santana. To a lesser extent, Escobar. He was on the team, but he wasn't playing regularly.
Early on, it was all Pedro Florimon.
So another lesson for those of us who need to be reminded from time to time. So much effort put into the 25-man roster coming out of spring training, but it's the 40-man roster that ultimately seems to decide whether a team's going to have a good year or a bad year. 3-1 to Nunez. Nunez cut free by the Yankees late in spring training. Roller to second. Collison gobbles it up. Arcia left the board. It's still 2-0.
Over the Blue Jays. I'm Jamie Hershey at Rogers Center. Phil Hughes has undoubtedly been the best pitcher for the Twins so far this season, but they've got some very good arms doing some damage down at the AAA level as well. Take a look at what their starting rotation has been able to do so far this season. And when Ron Gardenhire was asked about this success, he said, well, sure, I'm happy they're doing well, but my job and my coach's job right now is to make the players up here now better. We want to see our current big league starters doing well first. That's a big difference, or there is a big difference in the level of competition, both at AAA and up to here. So he's happy they're doing well out there, but taking a very even-keeled approach as far as talking about any bringing any guys up anytime soon.
Thank you, Jamie. It is an element that the Twins certainly have not had in recent years in the 3-year drought that the Twins have gone through, 1 and 2 to Lynn. Your thoughts about that? You know, Terry Ryan always says, whether it's a position player or a pitcher, before anyone is promoted, whether it's from Class A to Double-A or Triple-A to the bigs, there's a called third strike, one away. He's looking for a player to dominate the league that they're in before they get promoted. And teams are always in need of players, and so many times you see players getting rushed, whether it's up here or to another level higher in the minor leagues.
I think in the ideal scenario, Terry Ryan's absolutely right. There have been times where teams have had to panic, a lot of late-minute decisions because of injuries to bring the player up ahead before he's really earned it, before he really deserves it. Blue Jays had a lot of that last year with injuries early in the season. But you look at Phil Hughes, the way he started this game, for all the young kids out there, he spotted a 2-run lead before he takes the mound. This is how you do it. In his first inning, 9 pitches, 8 strikes. 3 of those 4 were strikes. 3 of the 4 hitters he faced were strikes. And he just attacked.
First pitch strikes.
First pitch strikes, right. And this is one of the better hitting teams in baseball. And yet with a 2-run lead, he's able to throw that fastball and challenge the hitters and saying, here, I know you're good. I feel my stuff's pretty good too. It's you and me. Let's go at it.
Now, it helps if you can throw 94 miles per hour.
It does, and spot your fastball the way Phil can. Certainly, all those things into consideration, but it's the attitude of it,
right,
that I like. And Phil has done it all year. He really has. He's been very aggressive on the mound. He went through a stretch there for a while that didn't walk up hitter. It was the last pitch that he threw. This is a slider. That was out of the zone. Suzuki doing a good job of shifting over there.
2-2 to Laurie. And from where I sit, typically, I don't know, 200 feet from home plate, and for as long as I've been sitting here, you can sense it up here. Whether there's a 2-2 pitch, high pop up, a foul ball. Lauer tracking it. 2 away. You can sense it up here, whether it's Phil Hughes, Jack Morris, Bert Blyleven, Johan Santana, just an aggressiveness out there on the mound. And if you can sense it up here, those guys down there on the field have to notice.
No question. The players respond behind the guys that are out there and challenging the hitters. And it goes back to what I always say to a lot of young pitchers. Look at the best get themselves out 7 out of 10 times. Keep that in mind.
OurSoup.com trivia question. The last Twins pitcher to start a season 4-0 in his first 5 road starts. Fouled back. Another Toronto hitter going after that first pitch, anticipating that it's going to be a strike. Kratz has kind of joined in the fun. The average not all that great, but 3 home runs, 9 RBIs in spot duty. This is a Toronto lineup that loves to bash the ball over the fence. Short center. Santana hustling in. This is going to be trouble, and it's dropped. Dozier colliding with the shortstop Nunez, and Kratz is at second. We'll see if everybody picks themselves up. They do. Very similar to the ball that Reyes hit in the first inning. Kind of in between a bunch of players, and it looked like that time Dozier had it in his glove, but then it came out.
Well, both Dozier and Nunez are calling for it, and they are both going hard at it. Danny Santana really should have taken charge. That is a center fielder's ball right there. But again, Danny Santana has to play a little deeper than a normal center fielder would, because it's all new to him, and he reacts better coming in than he does going behind him over his head. And he was playing quite deep there. That ball typically would be caught if Danny was playing normal depth.
Dozier appears to be okay. Nunez appears to be okay. And now Hughes, who gave up a 2-out single in the first, will try to pitch around Kratz's 2-out double. Steve Tollefson, the batter. Strike 1 over the inside corner. Twins getting a 2-run home run from Josh Willingham in the first, and now Hughes trying to get his team off the field with that 2-0 lead. 94, and it blew it right by him.
I was going to say that's 94, and that's above average fastball, but absolutely sneaky. He's got a kind of a short arm delivery. He doesn't really have great extension behind him, and ball runs up on the hitters a lot quicker than they think.
And he went upstairs and got a foul ball.
But again, Phil Hughes just challenging the hitters with fastballs. He's thrown one breaking ball, I believe, so far. 19 strikes of the 23 pitches he's thrown.
Two strikes. Breaking ball got him. Hughes had to throw a few extra pitches after the pop fly double. No damage done. On to the third. 2-0 Twins. Hashtag NorthFan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Dick Bramer, Jack Morris. Series finale, season series finale. Twins with the lead so far, 3-2. It'll be Danny Santana leading off the third inning. Santana chopped a single into center field and scored on Willingham's home run. The bunt. Laurie off balance throw. Got him. Good play. Lynn had to dig it out, but Laurie angling toward the backstop behind home plate, coming in from his third base position and almost throw across his body.
Red Laurie is just a great third baseman. This was a very good bunt. Even though it was hit a little bit hard, the fact that it was right on the line and Danny Santana runs so well. So really a great idea by Danny, and it took a great play by Brett Laurie to get him out.
And Ron Gardenhire coming out to see if the replay might show that Santana beat the throw.
I think he's also looking to see if Lynn's foot was off the bag.
And I think in each case Eric Cooper got the call right. One down here in the third. Brian Dozier will bat. Popped up to Tollison. His first time up. Strike on the outside corner. You made the comparison the other day, and I see what you mean. Stroman, 5'9", 185 pounds, and at least physically has the same build as Tom Flash Gordon, the father of Nick Gordon, whom the Twins drafted and signed the past week. I haven't seen the 12-6.
No,
drop.
He doesn't have that big curveball, and probably doesn't have as good of over the top fastball that Tommy Gordon had.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
But he gets the ball and he's ready to go.
Digging a little hole in the corner of the first base side of the rubber. Do you move around on the pitching rubber much at all?
No, I didn't. I threw off the third base side.
Just off the corner. Why?
Well, to right-handers, I had a better angle that way, and I guess looking back and reflecting on it, I would have probably tried to move over on the other side in certain situations, but
roller to short. Reyes to Lim, 2 down. And that'll bring up Joe Mauer.
I feel like a right-handed pitcher, when he stands on the first base side of the rubber, is too much straight to the plate, and there's no angle. With that being said, you can probably get inside on left-handers a little better from that side. So I don't know. I was taught start on that side, and that's where I stayed.
Mauer struck out swinging his first time up. Takes a fastball off the plate, ball 1.
I never felt like I had trouble getting over to first base when I was fielding. It's another advantage to staying on the right side.
Fouled away, 1-1. Twins with 3 hits, 2 runs. Willingham's home run, the biggest swing of the bat. That's to left toward the line. Cabrera chasing it, won't get there. And now bouncing over his head, Mauer will dig for second, and he's got a double. Finally, little reward for Joe. Hitting one down that left field line. Didn't hit it particularly hard, but he'll take the double.
He's had tough luck with finding holes out there. Melky Cabrera a step or 2 quicker this year than he was last year, but just couldn't get to this ball.
That ball bounced, what, 12 feet in the air? Here's Willingham. Sent one into the second deck. Swing and a miss, 1 strike.
And fastball by Stroman just overpowered Willingham. He wasn't quite ready for it. Threw it up in the zone, and it was by him.
Time called. Twins couldn't score with a leadoff double in the second. We'll see what happens with a 2-out double here in the third. Another fastball and another Willingham swing and a miss.
Again, it looked like Josh was a little tardy on that fastball. Let's see if Stroman speeds up his bat and gives him a favor with a hanging breaking ball here if he continues to pound with a fastball.
Lifted foul. So you got a guy 5'9", throwing 94 miles per hour, and a guy about a half foot taller than he is, Phil Hughes, throwing 94 miles per hour. Too simple to say that this guy's getting his power from his legs?
No, I think that's very accurate. He generates a lot of his momentum with his legs.
Put a 94-mile-per-hour fastball over the inside corner. Bauer left at second. It's still 2-0. start for the Twins again. Let's get caught up.
Josh Willingham in the first inning sends one in the upper deck in left field, puts the Twins on top with a 2-run home run after Danny Santana is on with a leadoff single. Phil Hughes, 2 innings pitch, only 2 hits allowed, 2 strikeouts, no walks. Looks like he's dialed in. Should be a good one here, as Stroman seems to be kind of getting dialed in a little bit for the Blue Jays also.
Hughes trying to rebound from a disappointing start against Houston. But then you look at the box score. He pitched 6 innings, and in only one of those innings did he face more than 4 batters. There were a couple of solo home runs, and then the 6th inning started triple single home run. That was the big inning for the Astros, and Hughes got the next 3 batters. So no, it wasn't a good start, but as bad starts go, we've seen a lot worse. Up and away. He didn't walk anybody in his last start. 1-2 to Goes, then Reyes and Cabrera. Swing and a foul.
It's almost like a little changeup he just threw there. It took a little bit off fastball. 90 miles an hour, just 4 miles an hour, but that's enough to get Ghost way out in front right there.
Back to 94, you think?
Breaking ball.
Ooh, right on the outside corner.
Dropped the hammer on him. Phil Hughes just really working well right now with Kurt Suzuki. Looks like the Blue Jay hitters are very confused. You see this breaking ball right here. First curveball I think he's thrown, and he just paints it on the outside corner. 4th strikeout for Hughes. 3rd strikeout, excuse me.
1 down in the 3rd. Here's Reyes. Hit a pop up to Dozier in short center field his first time up. Up and away, ball 1. As good as this Toronto lineup is, they have hit a little bit of a lull. Cardinals shut them out twice, and then Correa in the bullpen did it again last night. Watching one of their analysts discussing it, saying, well, the Cardinal thing, that's understandable, but they just had a really bad game last night. And I don't know that you can Cardinals obviously have a better pitching staff than the Twins, but if a guy pitches well, and Correa had some things break his way last night, it still was a shutout. That's to left. Willingham retreating a few steps. Out number 2. And we'll bring up Cabrera. Saturday, full day of MLB action, beginning with the Twins taking on Cabrera and the Tigers on Fox Sports 1. You're working that game?
I get to work that game.
All right, very nice. And it's Baseball Night in America on Fox as the Reds battle the Brewers. Our MLB doubleheader begins Saturday at 3 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1. Continues at 6 p.m. Central on Fox. Again, the Tigers were rained out last night, so the pitching rotation for that series has changed. The Twins will miss both Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. And the matchup for the Twins in that series, it'll be Gibson, Deduno, and Nolasco against Smiley, Sanchez, and Porcello. Up and away, 1-1.
I'll reflect back on what you're just talking about with the shutouts. You made a good point, and it's rare that it happens, but the Blue Jays have been shut out 3 of the 4 right here at Rogers Center. And this is a very hitter-friendly ballpark.
Foul back, even the best lineups.
They go
over the course of a long season, you're going to have some speed bumps along.
You know, what's funny is, as good as their offense is, the destiny of the Blue Jays rests in their starting rotation. Does that sound familiar?
Good pitching will beat good hitting, right? 1-2. Tapper to short. Nunez sets, fires another 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes. 2-0 Twins going to the fourth. You can join the Twins season ticket family and receive discounts on some of your purchases at Target Field. As a season ticket holder, you'll get 10% discounts on concessions and merchandise while you're at the game. Call 833-TWINS, twinsbaseball.com, and get more info. Here's Kendrys Morales, and there is strike one. Morales hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Last night we showed you Morales, who had some tape on his fingers, and you can see them there, but he does that in lieu of batting gloves. As long as I've watched him play, I've never seen him put on batting gloves. And another base hit. Morales is at first, leading off the fourth inning.
It shouldn't come as a surprise to any Twins fans that this guy can hit. He's a pro hitter. I mean, he's done it his whole career. What's a surprise is that when he signed, he said, I don't know when I'll be ready, and he's been in every game except one, and he's got hits.
Right-handed, left-handed, line drives to every field, an infield hit. He's done everything but hit a home run. He's 4 for 10. Here's Arcia. Inside, ball one. Whether, we talked a little bit about this last night, whether there will be any mentorship, advice passed along from Morales to someone like Arcia, that remains to be seen. It's way too early to say one way or the other, but you know, boy, they spent an awful lot of time together. Here's a ball fouled off of Arcia's foot again. I know what he'll be doing in the off day in Detroit, standing in a bucket of ice.
I don't think there's any question that Kendrys Morales is kind of already mentoring a lot of the young Latin players. They have already migrated to him. It's just been less than a week, and you see him holding court already, and that's a good thing. There is nothing but good that can come out of that because he is a student of hitting.
Awful swing by Arcia, 2-2.
It's not all God-given. This guy studies what he's doing, and he understands a lot of the things that Tom Bernansky is trying to teach him with their approach, getting the bat head to the ball quickly, not long swings, all those things. I've seen him, and I'm not bilingual. I don't hear him and understand him, but I know what he's trying to tell him.
And inside, and got strike three, one away. And that'll bring up Plouffe. We had a shot between innings last night with, take a look at strike three here.
Last pitch by Stroman. This is that little cutter. He starts it on the inner half and it breaks down and in.
We had a shot last night of Morales talking to Danny Santana in the dugout between innings. And Santana's, I mean, he's got aptitude and he's very attentive to his coaching staff, but you could almost sense that there was just something that Morales was saying to him that he was absorbing and able to get the full meaning of.
Exactly. That's the key right there. There's no language barrier. A lot of what Danny, and he's very attentive, like you say, to all the coaches, but there are sometimes things that slip through because of the English-Spanish barrier, and Morales and him, they're right on the same page. So when Morales is explaining something to Danny, there's nothing that he isn't grasping and absorbing.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. Plouffe struck out swinging in the second.
It can be a very good thing. I really think the Twins kind of did a very good thing by signing Morales. Had the opportunity, and like Terry Ryan said, why not us? And I just see it a win-win in so many ways. No matter what happens with the Twins this year, no matter how much Morales either succeeds or fails, there's so much good that can come from it.
2-2. Twins didn't do anything with a leadoff double in the second. Now trying to do something with Morales' leadoff single in the fourth. This one lifted deep down the right field line toward the corner. Chased by Bautista, out of play. Twins timed the first inning okay. Willingham hit a home run with a man aboard, but the rest of the hits have been scattered. A double in the second, double in the third, now a single in the fourth. Two and two. Got a piece. Fouled to the backstop. .63 pitches already for Marcus Stroman.
I believe Marcus Stroman, he came up last year for one game. The Blue Jays.
Tapper toward the hole. Reyes drops it. First and second. Tollefson alertly ahead of Morales, runs towards third base. I suspect the base hit will be given to Plouffe.
Reyes right there probably would have had time. Morales does not run very well, and he probably would have had time to go to second base and get the force at second. But it was a clank in his glove. He just dropped the ball. They're going to give him a hit.
Yep. First and second, one down, and now Kurt Suzuki.
I was saying,
beg your pardon, it's an error charge to Reyes. I thought I heard base hit.
I did too.
And now Plouffe is going to draw some attention here. He's running up the line. Dave Prumer coming out.
Gardy's slowly walking out. I didn't see anything. We'll have to try to figure out what happened there, whether it's an ankle or hamstring. Or you can see as he's coming out of the box. Whoop, a slip right there.
Yep. And you worry about a pulled groin. Who's going to stay in the game? Twins have a bench of Pinto, Hicks, Parmelee, and Escobar. But for now, at least, Plouffe's going to stay in the game. Dave Prumer, by the way, and Ron Gardenhire both are going to be busy during the All-Star game. Dave Prumer named to the training staff. Ron Gardenhire named to the coaching staff for John Farrell. Here's Suzuki. Came up with a runner at second and one out and bounced out to third. Chopped to the right side. Tollefson fires and gets the force out at second. First and third, two down now for Nunez. On the play, Morales goes to third. Rare to see Suzuki retired on the first pitch. Really reaching on a fielder's choice. Nunez has had an impact. Twins got him because of his bat, and he's brought it with him.
Last 4 games, he has definitely contributed. That's partly why he's in the lineup again today. First time that he's actually seen any activity at shortstop, and that's where the Twins basically signed him for.
Over the inside corner, strike one. Nunez bounced to Tollefson his first time up. He's got the first 2 runs, but they know how potent this Toronto lineup is. They're trying to add to it here in the fourth. We'll need a 2-out hit to get something done here. 1-1. 67 pitches and 45 strikes. A good strike percentage for Stroman. Popped up. Rats has room and ends the inning. Couple of hits, 2 men left aboard. Excuse me, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men left aboard. It's still 2-0. circle me signs, and if you get circled, you might find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery winner's circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Bert is somewhere in Florida, I presume, playing golf. I'm very happy to be working with Jack Morris on this road trip. And kind of old home week for you. You played here, of course, part of a couple of World Championship teams here in Toronto. Then we go to Detroit, where you're held in such high esteem.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it is a fun trip for me. It really is. I enjoy it.
Eduardo Escobar's in at second base. We were concerned about Trevor Plouffe, but instead it's Brian Dozier who is taken out of the lineup. And we assume that has something to do with the collision that occurred a couple of innings ago. So Escobar in at second base. Bautista with a 1-2 count. Popped up, backing out of play. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Lind. 3, 4, and 5 batters, the very same batters that Jared Burton cut down in quick fashion last night in the 8th inning. We gave you Stroman's pitch count, and as you can see, Hughes with just 42 pitches, and 33 of those are strikes.
Just been attacking the strike zone, and he's got confidence in that fastball. He can locate it. Rarely does he throw it over the heart of the plate.
To center, harmlessly towards Santana. In fact, it's Arcia now in front of Santana, one away. I don't know that Santana saw it all the way. Here's what happened with Eric Kratz in the second inning.
Basically, Eduardo Nunez ran right over the top of Brian Dozier, and we don't have the report yet, but Gardy has taken Dozier out of the game. Escobar now playing second base.
Escobar is used to playing at short and at third. Second base is his third position, if you will. Pounded foul by Encarnacion, so he's so far been looking into the dugout after every pitch, wondering where they want him to play.
Well, they've got the shift on, so he's playing directly behind second base. Now he's going to be brought in a little bit. He's glued to the dugout trying to figure out where they want him to play.
1-1. Encarnacion with a fly to left, his first time up. Down and in, 2-1. Popped up behind third. Plouffe out. Nunez out. Plouffe calling for it, and a long way for the third baseman to go to make that catch. 2 down. And it'll bring up Adam Lind. My goodness, we're just in the 4th inning. We're going to answer the trivia question already. Haven't had time to.
I haven't even guessed yet.
Barstool.com trivia question. I'm going to go with Johan Santana.
I'll stay with you. Hey.
And that was the year he did not win the Cy Young Award. He won in 04 and 06. 2 down. Adam Lind, the hitter. And there's strike 1 again. Lind called out on strikes his first time up. One and one.
Adam Lind had a little bit of a transformation last year, similar in some ways to Joe Mauer. He was swinging a lot early in the count, making early quick outs, and wasn't working out very well for him.
1-2.
And he decided to take the first pitch, and it really changed his approach. He tracked that ball the first time around, and he just got on fire for a few weeks. And I see Adam Lind is kind of keeping that same approach. He's got good numbers this year.
And he beat the shift. Grounding one down the left field line. Lind rounds first, on his way to second. Willingham's throw, a strong one, and he is. The ball is dropped by Plouffe at third. It looked like Willingham's long hop throw was there to get him. And Lind may have kicked the ball out of Trevor's glove.
I think it was more of a case where Trevor Plouffe peaked, and you've got to catch the ball first. Very accurate throw. You can see Josh Willingham getting over to the ball very quickly, coming up and making a perfect strike. One hopper. And you can see right there, Trevor Plouffe peaked too early, didn't catch the ball. Adam Lind slid in.
Now Laurie will hit. It's a double for Lind with 2 out. And a check swing foul, 1 strike. Blue Jays got a 2-out double in the second, and that was the pop fly that eventually, we believe, has taken Brian Dozier out of the game. And Hughes came back and very quickly struck out Steve Tollefson to end the inning. Foul back, 2 strikes.
Well, that was a changeup right there. And you can see it's only about 4-mile-an-hour difference in his fastball, but that's just enough to get the hitter a little bit off balance. That change of speed sometimes is almost as effective as change of location.
2 strikes to Brett Laurie. Got him high and tight, and as he did in the second inning, Hughes comes back to strand a runner at second base with 2 outs. Danny Santana, part of the Twins' 5th inning. Do kickstart fans of the game here at the Rogers Center. Amidst all the Toronto Blue Jay caps are a fan of the game, hoping that the Twins can hang on. Brian Dozier, we're told now, has some lower back tightness. That's why he was taken out of the game. And his status is predictably day to day. There's an off day tomorrow, and the hope is that he'll be ready to go Friday. Here's Santana. I tell you what, man, I would imagine there are a lot of fans who are like me. Player leaves the game, and we show a replay, and I immediately look at the head.
Concussion now,
for a concussion. It's just force of habit. It's not even a conscious thing, and that's what, when we showed Dozier's replay the first time, you just tend to naturally look that way. Here's a liner to center, and it'll carry all the way to Anthony Goes. Well hit ball for the first out of the fifth.
And Danny Santana just continuing to do good things at the plate. That ball was hit sharply. It had a little too much carry, and Anthony Ghost can cover some ground for the Blue Jays. Another good at bat for Danny Santana.
Here's Eduardo Escobar. Escobar's first plate appearance. Dozier had gone 0 for 2. And ball 1. Popped up behind third. Laurie chasing it. And foul ground makes the catch, 2 down. And that'll bring up Mauer. Mauer hit a fly ball down the left field line and landed and bounced over Cabrera in left for a double with 2 outs in the third.
Twins have got at least 1 hit in every inning so far. The difference in this game was the 2-run homer in the first by Josh Willingham, but both starting pitchers have really settled in since then. Only 3 hits allowed by Phil Hughes.
Going after the first pitch and fouling it, 1 strike.
And then he went after it with authority. Joe had an idea of leaving the yard right there. Fastball up and in his power zone.
Foul back, 2 strikes.
Stroman coming right back inside. That one got in on Joe's hands a little bit.
Oh, 2 to Mauer. And Mauer driving on to left field. He has his second hit of the ball game. Backhanded by Cabrera. Mauer with a big turn. He will hold up there. And it'll get Willingham to the plate with a man aboard again. All season long at Target Field, businesses of all sizes gain a competitive edge by treating prospects and clients to a Twins game. Take advantage of all that Target Field has to offer your business. Private suites to special group seating arrangements. The Twins group sales team can customize something just for your needs. Of course, 833 Twins or twinsbaseball.com, the sources for more info. Here's Willingham. Down and away, ball 1.
Here's the pitch, 0-2 pitch that Joe Mauer got a hit, and that's just a bad pitch. We talked about it with Kevin Correa last night. He avoided that after the second inning, basically, and Stroman there kind of getting excited about making that third out. Leaves the ball up, and Joe jumped all over it. Second hit of the game for Joe Mauer.
Strike on the outside corner to Willingham, 1-1. Two and 1. Boy, the game moves along when guys aren't walking people and falling behind. Both starting pitchers have done a nice job getting ahead, not having long counts, no walks.
Phil Hughes, 13 of 15 first pitch strikes. And 42 of his 54 pitches have been strikes. So he's throwing. And for the most part, Marcus Stroman doing the same thing. Very good percentage of strikes to balls.
Tapper to third. Laurie has a play. And that wraps up the top of the 5th. On to the bottom. 2-0 Twins. in the leadoff spot for the Twins. He's learning center field in the big leagues. Danny Santana, a product of the Twins Academy in the Dominican Republic. And to the extent he's prematurely polished, the Academy might have something to do with that. You can tune in for baseball in the Dominican Republic Friday. Bring you an up-close look at the Twins Academy, where players as young as 16 are chasing the big league dream. It's coming up Friday night after our Twins Live postgame show.
And they just put up on the scoreboard one of the great ambassadors from the Dominican Republic, a great player, Jose Reyes. His birthday today.
Well, let's hope he leads off the 6th inning. It's the bottom third of the Toronto lineup. Kratz, Tollefson, and Goes facing Phil Hughes. He gets ahead of Kratz quickly.
Just pounding the strike zone. Fun watching Phil Hughes work this way. You watch Suzuki and
liner to center. Santana with a shoestring catch. Danny Santana picked it off the rug before it hit the rug.
Well, he played a little bit shallower right there. Got a great jump on the ball. And this is, again, a work in progress, but a couple weeks ago you probably wouldn't see Danny react to a ball straight at him the way he just did, and got a great jump on that ball, robbing Erik Kratz of a base hit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a good point. A couple weeks ago we all saw it. Balls hit directly to Santana.
He would freeze.
Either in front of or in back of. And now John Gibbons is going to come out. And
he wants to review it. Maybe he thought, or maybe he has information. Sal Butera is there reviewing. The ball did come out.
But it never came out of the glove, I don't think.
I think it hit the ground. I think it hit his glove and then bounced on the turf and then came back into his glove. The angle that we just saw showed that.
No, they're not going to review it. I don't think the ball ever left the glove once it went in there.
You can't see it there, but I really do believe it did hit the turf. Either case, it's going to be an out. They're not going to challenge it.
Pulled foul by about 18 inches.
I think what happened there is John Gibbons just went out and said, why don't you ask somebody else? Just take an ad. It's not like he's asking to review the play. He just wants to have the home plate umpire, Chris Guccione, ask his fellow crew if they saw anything different.
Breaking ball taken for strike 2.
Tom Hallion would be the umpire at second base closest to the play.
He's the one that signaled originally the out call. Right. 0-2. Out of right field, hit lazily toward Arcia, who comes in, and that's out number 2. Seems strange to look at the right side and see somebody other than Dozier there. He's played every inning of every game at second base, and he had to leave midway through this game here today. 2 down. Escobar getting a little refresher course from everybody as to where to play, what to do. Anthony Goes, the hitter, called out on strikes his first time up. A swinging strike. And now 2 strikes.
I know we're only midway through this ball game, but just appears that Phil Hughes is really dialed in again today, only allowing 3 base hits to this point. Not in any kind of trouble at all. His pitch count is excellent, 62 total, 50 of them strikes.
16 of 18 first pitch strikes. And then you look at the hits too. Bautista's first inning single was a hard ground ball, but it beat the shift.
Right. He went the other way right through the hole.
Kratz hit a pop up to short center that should have been caught by somebody, and then Lind beat the shift with a ground ball near third base on the outside corner. Phil Hughes is razor sharp so far here this afternoon. He and the Twins have a 2-0 lead. Hashtag NorthFan photo. A chance to put it on TV. Brought to you by AT TOR.
How about that? Gardy hanging out with the fans outside the ballpark.
Strike one to Kendrys Morales. Morales with a fly ball to center and an opposite field single leading off the fourth. 1-1.
Can I guess that photo was taken when they unraveled TC the Bear statue outside target field?
Could have. Two and one. It'll be Morales, Arcia, and Plouffe here in the sixth inning. Three and one. Twins have not enjoyed playing the Toronto Blue Jays for a long time. Last time the Twins so much as split the season series, you've got to go back to 2005. They actually won that series. Here's a drive to center. Heading back is goes. You won't get there. One hopping the wall. Morales has another hit, and it's a double leading off the sixth inning.
Every single at bat, it seems like Kendrys Morales is getting more and more dialed in and spraying the ball all over, going with pitches and really driving the ball. He has the uncanny knack of being able to put the bat head on the ball, and that's the difference between the good hitters and a lot of others, is putting the good part of the bat on the ball. And he's just man, he's impressing me so far.
Now Arcia. Arcia led off the second with a double, but only got as far as third base. Fouled back a strike. Arcia hit a ground rule double to the spot near where Morales just doubled. Was 0 for 6 with men in scoring position today. You do it right, you don't even have to get a hit to get another run in here. Foul back, 2 strikes.
Stroman and Kratz are trying to pitch Arcia up and in with fastballs, and it's worked so far. He did double, like you said, in the first at bat in the second inning, but that's where they'll want to try to get him out, see if they throw the breaking ball down in his shoe tops now.
Fastball inside just off the plate.
Yeah, and just straighten him right up with the same pitch.
1-2.
Garcia probably was sitting on the breaking ball right there.
Pulled to the right side and through. Morales to third. He'll be held there. And Arcia delivers a 2-strike single. First and third, nobody out. Arcia looks across the diamond at Morales, wondering why he didn't score like Nunez did last night. First and third, nobody out. And now Trevor Plouffe.
I think the Twins hitters are going to have to come to the realization that it's going to have to be a gapper to score Morales from second.
Plouffe reached on an error his last time up, hit a chopper toward the hole, struck out his first time up. Fouled back. Trevor had a hard time leaving home plate, spun out a little bit.
The newest member of the Toronto Blue Jays, former Twin Bobby Korecki, up and throwing in the Jays pen. They made a roster move before the game, sending out Kevin Pillar and bringing up Korecki, mainly because they're not facing any left-handed hitters for some time on their next road trip.
No foul. You can see Trevor's got kind of a hybrid shoe, it looks like, metal spikes, but also some molded rubber spikes, and that's what players have typically done on artificial turf fields. I think he's got a couple metal ones there on the front end. kind of lost his footing leaving the batter's box in his 4th inning at bat. 2 strikes. Fly ball right center field. Retreating is Bautista, and he will make the catch. And it is deep enough to score. Morales from third. A sacrifice fly for Plouffe. And now it's 3-0. So with 2 strikes, nice job by Trevor Plouffe to hit a fly ball deep enough to score Morales from third.
Now, good at bat right there, and a very important run. This has been a well pitched game by both sides, and you tack on that 3rd one, and that can really be a difference maker. Phil Hughes, you get the feeling the way he's pitching that ought to be enough in this game, but you never know here.
Here's Suzuki, 0 for 2, couple of ground balls, 1 to third, 1 to second. Over the inside corner.
'93rd pitch for Marcus Stroman. I don't believe John Gibbons going to let him go much beyond 100. As a young pitcher, they rarely let them do that.
Driven to right toward the corner. Bautista going back, and that's over his head. High off the wall. Arcia to third. Suzuki to second. Out at second base. A great arm by Bautista. He played it well off the wall. And here comes Ron Gardenhire to chat with Tom Hallion.
Again, Kurt Suzuki thought he got in there. And this one, I got to believe Gardy will review unless he gets the thumbs down from Paul Molitor. But we'll get to see it right here. Suzuki not busting out of the box. That's the difference maker right there. He kind of watches Bautista, and then he starts turning it on. The throw is high. Looked like he was out in that angle.
Watch the foot. Yeah. Boy, I don't know.
Boy, that's close.
The right foot got the bag as the left leg was being tagged.
And Gardy is not going to review it. Oh, yes, he is. They are reviewing it. So it will be a manager's challenge here, and the umpires are gathering, got their headsets on, talking to the umpires in New York.
Oh, I think he's safe. I think the right foot on the replay they showed here on the scoreboard, I think the right foot got to the bag before the tag was applied on the left thigh.
I agree. I think it ends up looking like he made it.
The only winning percentage lower than the Twins on these challenges is mine, and I have the benefit of looking at these things. And
well, that's the whole point, and that's why you don't see umpires really arguing the point anymore. They just say, okay, let's review it, because there's angles that the umpire themselves don't see.
The thing to remember is the original call was out, so there needs to be clear and convincing evidence
to overturn
the call. And I don't know that it exists on that replay. And it is a big factor. It's the difference between 1 out and 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position or 1. Arcia is at third regardless.
All the different angles that they're showing here on the big scoreboard at Rogers Center, you can't see anyone that's clear and convincing.
Right.
They're just not a good angle that they've shown. So it'll be interesting. They're taking their time in New York. They're trying to find an angle that allows them to see the timing of both the tag and the.
Here's what we think is the best look that we have, and we've already shown it to you. You don't see the tag. That's the problem with that angle.
It's just hard to see if he hit his shirt. If I was to guess, I would guess that he was safe. But that's all it would be.
find out. Out at second base. There was not clear and convincing evidence otherwise. Stands, meaning there are 2 outs and a runner at third. Give Suzuki credit for a single. Give Bautista an assist. And now Nunez will hit with Arcia at third and 2 away.
Again, the difference in that play was the way that Suzuki got out of the batter's box, watching the ball instead of just busting down the line.
Now, whether it contributed to Suzuki's not busting it, Bautista did put his glove up to try to decoy either the runner or the batter.
Well, they typically do that to try to decoy the runner going around second base. The guy at first base has no business watching the ball.
Right.
Or the guy hitting, I should say.
Back to the mound. Stroman flips, and that wraps it up. An extra run for the Twins after a leadoff double by Morales, and it's 3-0. Go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, where right now you can score a delicious creamy McCafe iced coffee starting at just $1.59. Another first pitch strike from Hughes, another first pitch quality strike, shaving the outside corner. Breaking ball, and it's strike 2. 0-2 quickly to the birthday boy, Jose Reyes. Kloof to his left, fires off the line, and Reyes will be aboard.
First time the leadoff man has reached. You got to believe that's going to be an error, even though he had to go to his left. The throw is what pulled him off the base.
Runner at first, and Melky Cabrera will bat. Cabrera with a warning track fly ball to left in the first and a bouncer to short. Hughes a fly ball pitcher. But remember this, if he does get a ground ball, we've got a middle infield that's different than what the Twins have had at any point this year. Nunez is playing his first game at short, and Escobar playing his first innings at second this year because Dozier left with an injury.
They give Reyes a hit.
1-0 to Cabrera, and a little flare right center field. It's down for a hit. And Reyes will stand for the third. First and third, nobody out. And a threat to the Jays here with Bautista coming to the plate.
This ball not hits real sharply, but Melky Cabrera getting enough of the ball. Kind of right off the end of the bat, shows how strong Cabrera is. Just kind of lifts it out there in no man's land.
Bautista singled to right in the first, hit a fly ball to right in the fourth. To play the infield back, of course, playing now with a 3-run lead. Fox Tracks presented by Dodge. And Bautista pops it up. Suzuki back, and it's out of play, 1 strike.
Well, can we agree that this is a critical point in the game?
Yes. No argument from me.
Game management, you know, this is the toughest part for Phil Hughes. He's been on cruise control, just pitching outstanding. And 2 hits early, and all of a sudden the game's got a different look.
1-1 to Bautista.
You got the best back-to-back hitters in the Blue Jay lineup. Bautista and Encarnacion on deck. Adam Lind behind him. So Phil Hughes is going to have his work cut out to try to get out of this inning.
Very good pitch count. 71 thrown. 56 strikes. Deep but foul. 1-2. He can hit all of those he'd like.
Yeah. Well, again, I've always believed that there are guys that love to pull the ball, and that's fine. But you get in a little bit more, they're going to still show you. They want to prove to you that there's no way you can get in their kitchen. And what they do is end up pulling the ball, just like that right there.
1-2. Tapper foul, a breaking pitch.
Good breaking pitch right there, and Bautista did a great job of just making contact and staying alive.
Saw where the location was, right where you'd want it, I suppose, down and away.
So many hitters will roll that into a 6-4-3 or 4-6-3 double play. That particular pitch, Suzuki setting up down and away, wanting the fastball. It came up high over the middle of the plate. So first time in a while that we've seen Phil Hughes misfire a little bit.
It's on the right field line. Arcia makes a sliding catch, comes up firing to hold Reyes. Great play by Arcia on the warning track.
Isn't it amazing again, Dick, that we're seeing so many good plays behind a guy that throws a lot of strikes. You keep your fielders on their toes. They're ready to play. Arcia, what a play right there. Sliding on the turf. His focus and concentration was there. He keeps his eye on the ball and then comes up with the awareness that Reyes is on third base. He can tag and he'll try to score here, so gets rid of the ball quickly. Great play.
Now Encarnacion, and now is when Hughes would love to get a ground ball hit at somebody. 6 ground ball double plays turned behind him. Encarnacion has hit the ball in the air twice, once to left, once in foul territory to Plouffe. Inside, nearly hit him.
Well, even that, I think, has a little bit of a message. You know, he can miss off the plate quite a bit. Make him aware that I'm coming in, hoping that you open up that outer half of the plate.
Missing outside 2-0. There's only been 1 ground ball out so far. Cabrera and his ground ball to Nunez to end the 3rd inning. back, and Encarnacion turned on that pitch as if he wanted to tie the game.
Well, that's the one pitch that he got away with right there. The ball was down to a degree, but pretty much over the middle of the plate, and Edwin doesn't miss too many of those. You see the pitch count inning by inning right there. Great shape for Phil Hughes.
Just one out here in the 6th. Strike 2. It could be a cutter.
Yeah,
on the outside corner.
Took a little bit off, and Edwin kind of jumping at the ball right there. He wants the ball middle half in. He's looking to try to put one in the seats when he's doesn't have 2 strikes. Now he's going to have to adjust a little bit, shorten up.
Fouled off a leg. You know, one of the things that's impressive about both Bautista and Encarnacion, and we've seen hitters put up great power numbers, and a lot of other numbers are pretty high too, like strikeouts, 160 to 200 strikeouts. These guys don't strike out all that much. It's like once every 5 at bats, which for
power
hitter isn't that bad. So this isn't a situation where Hughes can just reach back and blow it by him.
One other thing, these two guys are very smart hitters. They study, they understand tendencies, they watch video. They're not just good hitters by accident.
2-2. Waiting for the fastball, grounded sharply, foul. And Suzuki will go out to the mound and plot some strategy with Phil Hughes.
A good time to go out to the mound. Again, veteran leadership from Suzuki. He goes to the mound, a quick trip to the mound to discuss, hey, you got 2 strikes. What do you want to throw? I don't even have to put down a signal. You just tell me what you want me to catch here.
There has not been a 3-ball count yet in this ball game from Phil Hughes. He's got a 2-2 count with Encarnacion. Struck him out with a breaking ball, 2 down.
Well, what a big pitch that was right there. Wasn't a pitch in the strike zone, but he snapped off a great one. Fastball to start the at-bat with in, and then a slider, a little cutter away. That's the one that Encarnacion misses. And that fastball right there, breaking ball, he just took a little off, comes right back in, he fouls it off. Another one that was hittable that Edwin misses, and then he throws one off the plate and gets him to go fishing. Great pitching sequence for Phil Hughes. Important at bat, getting the 2nd out. Now he's got another tough batter in Adam Lynn, who doubled his last time up. 2
down, 2 on. Fouled back, 1 strike. Still plenty of life on that fastball, and Phil Hughes has started this ball game and all his other ball games at 94 miles per hour. Here we are in the 6th, and he's still got 94.
He's really making it look effortless. I mean, yes, it started with back-to-back hits to lead off this half inning.
Missing inside at 93. That's double was down the left field line with 2 outs in the 4th. The Twins don't have the exaggerated shift on them, with runners at 1st and 3rd and 2 out. Foul away, 1-2.
Again, Hughes working ahead in the count. Now he's got the hitter in the hole. He has to protect. Will Adam Lynn swing out of the zone and chase a pitch like Encarnacion did?
And Lynn, like the other 2 prior hitters, about 1 strikeout every 5 at bats. One and 2. Got him. 5 innings of shutout ball, but in the 6th, Phil Hughes pitched his tail off to make it 6 innings of shutout ball. copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins LLC. 3-0 Twins. We go to the 7th inning, and former Twin Bobby Korecki just called up today. Will make an appearance. The Blue Jays in being shut out last night, and in Sunday's game the bullpen in each case kind of got worn out a little bit, so they made room for Korecki here today.
And John Gibbons trying to get him right into the action. Trailing by 3 runs. It's a good time, I guess, to get one of your guys out of the pen in the game. Stroman, 96 pitches, so he was going to pretty much be done this half inning no matter what. He threw 65 strikes and left the game trailing 3-0.
Santana leading off an inning for the 4th time. 1-0. High chopper over the mound. Collison doesn't have him at first. It'll be another infield hit for Danny Santana. Second chopper over the mound. The first one skipped into center field. This one might as well have.
As we watch this play, again, human instinct has the guy just go after the ball, but knowing what I know about Reyes, he has a stronger arm and probably a better angle. Danny Santana just busting it down the line. It was going to be tough for either the shortstop or second baseman there, and he ends up, like you said, with his second hit.
Escobar, the batter, second plate appearance, fouled out to Laurie his first time up. See if Santana takes off here. Not on the first pitch. Twins should know a lot about Korecki because he was in their system for a lot of years. 2004 through 2008, actually pitched in 16 ball games for the Twins, the big league club, in 2008. Bounced around a little bit in the Arizona and Toronto organizations. Korecki traded to the Twins along with Carlos Silva and Nick Punta back in 2003, part of the Eric Milton trade.
He spent most of his career at the AAA level. He's had a few cups of coffee, but tough, and it's, you know, he's a guy that's endured.
Good bunt to third. Laurie fires, and that's a safe call at first as well. Couple of infield hits for the Twins here in the 7th inning, and a threat. With 2 on and 2 out, let's go to Jamie Hirsch.
Thanks, guys. Well, I talked to Danny Santana about what a month it has been like for him making his big league debut this past month or so. And he said this past week he's really started to feel comfortable at center field and also at the plate. And I asked him what the biggest challenge has been for him so far over the course of this month. He said just consistency, particularly as a hitter and learning pitchers. He said, I'm amazed by how good they all are. But he's been matching them very well so far now with a 7-game hitting streak and another hit right there.
First and second, nobody out, and now Mauer will hit. He's picked up a couple of hits, double down the left field line, a sharp single to left center. These are the situations that have been so frustrating for Joe and for the fans too.
RBI opportunities.
Just 15 runs batted in on the year. Mauer and then Willingham, and a lot of speed on the bases. See if Mauer can get him on the move. Up and away, 2-0. In Sunday's game, Todd Redmond pitched over 5 innings against the Cardinals, and he's not ready to come back. Jenkins pitched 2 1/3 innings yesterday. He's unavailable. Anthony, he's 2-1.
Typically, McGowan and Jansen are pitching in games that the Blue Jays are winning. But Cecil is a guy that can come out of the pen, give a couple of innings. Aaron Loop is typically a 1-inning guy. But again, Loop is used a lot when the Blue Jays are ahead.
3-1. Willingham on deck. Mauer takes a walk to fill him up. Bases loaded for Willingham, who started the scoring back in the first inning.
And he did it with this swing of the bat right here. Ball down off of Marcus Stroman. Josh put it in the upper deck left field. Twins are up 2-0 in the first.
Willingham since then called out on strikes in the third. Get a ground ball to third in the fifth. Foul back. Here comes Jack. Just beneath.
I'd have to bring out my go-go gadget arms to grab that one.
Surprised that the Blue Jays are playing the infield back, except at first where Lind is even with the bag.
Well, they know how well Danny Santana runs, so they're going to concede that run and hope for the double play. Try to get Korecki out of this inning.
High and tight. They haven't scored yet in 6 innings, and they're down 3-0. Conceding a fourth run. See how it plays out. One and one. Right off the end of the bat, spinning behind Scotty Elger. 23rd game for Willingham and 17 runs batted in. That's a pretty good RBI per game pace, and he's got a chance to make that look even better in this at bat. Pops straight up in the air. Infield fly rule will be called. So Willingham is retired, and that'll bring up Morales. Morales with 2 hits today, hoping to drive in his first run as a Twin.
Kendrys Morales, 2 hits today. He had 2 hits yesterday. In his first game as a member of the Twin, he picked up a hit. In his last at-bats, he's 5 for 11, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. I would say a pretty good start for a guy who hasn't played baseball at any level since last season.
Strike on the outside corner. While working in Florida, we were told that he was working out against professional pitchers who were trying to get contracts signed. So these are guys that, you know, can bring it. This isn't, you know, he wasn't taking batting practice against high school coaches or high school pitchers. 1 strike. Santana bluffs down the line, and that causes Korecki to step off. Big at bat for the newest Twin. Wide of the plate. Kratz comes to the mound. 1-1. See how much bigger the catcher is than the pitcher in this battery.
Well, Kratz pretty much trying to remind Korecki that if he can get a ground ball here, Morales does not run well. He's got a good chance of escaping any danger and getting himself out of a jam. He can just roll over a ground ball.
1-1. Fouled away. 1-2. At bat, Morales has walked once, struck out twice. Twins need a fly ball here at least to, and it wouldn't take a deep one at all to make it a 4-0 ball game. 2-2.
Korecki really tried to muscle up and throw his best fastball, and by doing so he opened up real quick. His arm flew and dragged through the pitching motion, up and away.
To center field, and that will run to the gap. Santana, Escobar, and Mauer all score on a 3-run double by Kendrys Morales.
Game-changing hit right there by Kendrys Morales, scoring all 3 Twins base runners. The Twins up by 6-0.
And Morales driving in his first runs, plural, as a Twin. That's a tough pitch. Down and away, out of the strike zone it appeared. And he hit the ball hard. It ran all the way past the speedy Anthony Goes for a 3-run double.
Again, showing his uncanny ability to get the bat head on the ball. Like you said, the pitch was in a great location. How great is it when you give up a 3-run double? I don't know, but it's probably where he wanted. He thought he'd get better results than that, but Morales threw the bat head on it.
And now Arcia down the line. Cracked his bat. We'll get a new one. Not because Tony Oliva was at the press conference, and not because they're both from Cuba, but there's a little Tony Oliva and Kendrys Morales hitting the ball where it's pitched. And as you said, getting the barrel of the bat on a pitch that seemed to be a pitcher's pitch. Tony did that a lot.
And strong line drives. We've seen already a lot of line drives from Morales.
Flip foul by Arcia.
I don't know anybody, and I talked to a lot of pitchers from Tony's era. Denny McClain and Mickey Lolich. I think they feared Tony Oliva more than any other hitter because of his ability to just hit line drives everywhere.
Talked to Jim Palmer about that. Hall of Fame pitcher and Baltimore broadcaster. He says the guy that always gave him fits was Tony. 2 strikes. And now a ball. 3 hits in the inning in the tough 2014 debut for Korecki. He's already given up 3 earned runs, has only 1 out. And Arcia strikes out. 2 away. And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe. If you need a gift for Dad, it's coming up on Sunday. The MLB.com at-bat app and a subscription to its premier features on his smartphone or tablet are a perfect Father's Day surprise. Dad will have access to features like live look-ins, instant replay, live audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Visit twinsbaseball.com for more info. Plouffe with a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning. Out in front, 1-1. Korecki giving up 3 earned runs when in reality only 1 ball has been hit hard. It was the double by Morales, but he had a chopper for the leadoff hit, a bunt for the 2nd hit. Mauer was walked. Willingham popped the ball straight up in the air. Morales with maybe the biggest hit of the ball game. And now 1-2 to Plouffe.
26 pitches this half inning for Korecki, 15 strikes.
Two and two. And Plouffe strikes out. That leaves Morales at second. Morales with another hit. This one his biggest hit as a Twin, driving in 3.
Grand Casino story of the game. Early on, it was all about Willingham's home run, then Phil Hughes, really the big story of the game, just pitching a whale of game, lots of strikes, and the big hit right there by the newest member of the Twins, Kendrys Morales, picks up 3 RBIs, Twins up 6-0.
Laurie waiting for that first pitch fastball, hooks it foul, hit it hard, but strike 1. Laurie, Kratz, and Tollefson to face Hughes here in the 7th. His first pitch of the 7th, his 87th of the ball game. Should be good for one more inning at least. Breaking ball over in April, and then pretty deep into May, Hughes was emphatic that he's doing as well as he was doing basically with 2 pitches. But now I think as we've gotten into June, this ball hit up the middle and it'll roll through. A 2-strike single for Laurie. Hughes is mixing in those breaking pitches more frequently. Leadoff single here in the 7th.
I think what happens is he kind of settles into the mound. He gets through a couple innings. Basically a great game plan. Fastball, fastball, fastball. Prove to me that you can hit it. And then if they show that they're starting to adjust to him, he's able to throw strikes with the breaking ball. And it's been just fun to watch. It really has been for him, the way he's just cutting apart team after team.
Popped up in the air, looks playable for Suzuki. 1 down. Join the Minnesota Lynx for the dads and daughters ticket offer presented by Fox Sports North Sunday. It's Father's Day, and their game against the Phoenix Mercury for just $33. Fans receive 2 tickets to the game and a drawstring backpack. For details, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on the More tab for details. Here's Steve Tollefson, 0 for 2. And a strike. One and 1. Excuse me, 0 and 2. Yeah, 0 and 2. Tollefson, too, a former Twin minor leaguer. Blocked by Suzuki, but Laurie will try to advance and succeed. A wild pitch, advancing Laurie to second base.
Sweetbread Laurie over there reacting quickly. Nothing that Kurt Suzuki could do. Laurie does run well.
One and two to Tollefson. To center. A base hit. Santana charges. Laurie will be held. And Santana's throw skips to Suzuki. First and third. One down.
Again, signs of improvement with Danny Santana. Laurie runs well. Base hit up the middle, but Santana breaks right to the ball, and that forces Luis Rivera, the third base coach, to hold up Laurie. Here's the pitch, and you can see Danny Santana just sprinting to the ball. He's got a good arm, and he's done a lot better job of trying to hit the cutoff man. Blue Jays have to hold the base runner.
Juan Francisco is going to hit for Anthony Goes. The third time through the order. The Blue Jays are 4 for 8, 4 singles. They haven't scored yet. Remember, they had a pair of singles, first and third, nobody out in the sixth, and then Hughes went to work and got out of the inning without a run allowed. But now a couple of early hits again here in the seventh. One out. Runners on the corners. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Bullpen starting some activity. Swing and a foul. What we saw in the sixth inning. What do they say? Pitcher bowing his neck. You got Bautista to foul out down the right field line, and then Encarnacion and Lind each struck out, leaving runners at first and third. The score at the time, it was just 3-0.
Yep.
All three of those batters, the 3, 4, and 5 batters, represented the tying run. Just off the plate, and it's 1 and 2.
Recognizing games management. What really, when do you have to come up with key strikeouts? That is the time of the game. To me, the strikeouts make a difference in those situations, and he was able to get it done. Phil, no walks in today's game. 7 strikeouts.
And Francisco takes a called third strike.
8 strikeouts.
The number 9 batters, Goes and now Francisco, have struck out 3 times looking against Phil Hughes. Two down, 2 on, and Reyes the batter. Reyes hit a chopper on the left side. Plouffe gloved it. His throw was off target. Reyes may have beaten it out anyway. According to the official scorer, he would have. He got a base hit. 99 pitches into his game, and Hughes has at least 92 miles per hour left.
Well, Ron Gardenhire's got to be delighted. Rick Anderson, if Phil Hughes can get out of this inning, probably see some hugs. And
there's 93 at the knees.
I'm tempted to just jump out of the booth and go give him a hug myself. I mean, I enjoy watching this.
Don't do that. No walks, no 3-ball counts.
That's impressive.
79 strikes in 100 pitches. Time called. All right, now let's do the Minnesota math. You and I are both Minnesota natives. That's roughly 4 strikes for every ball, right? That's pretty good.
I'm still doing the math.
Struck him out. If he's done, what an afternoon for Phil Hughes. 7 shutout innings against one of the top lineups in the game. Shutout innings again this afternoon for Phil Hughes. Getting congratulations from Rick Anderson, manager, coaches. He's had quite an afternoon here.
Well, that's an ace right there. That's a guy that understands how well he's done. He goes about his business and really just eats apart this lineup and puts his team in position to win a series. First time the Twins in quite some time can walk away and say they won 2 out of 3 back-to-back series against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Still some work to do. We're in the top of the 8th. It's Suzuki, Nunez, and Santana. And there is strike 1 to Suzuki. Singled his last time up. To this point, the Twins against this very good lineup. There's Brett Laurie at second base now, and Francisco taking over at third. Foul back against this really good Toronto lineup. They've given up 5 runs in nearly 3 games. The Twins no longer have the worst team ERA in the American League. Texas has that. Twins hoping to get past the White Sox in short order as they hope their pitching continues to improve. And Suzuki drops a base hit to left. He's got 2 hits this afternoon. So I'm reminded in one of my favorite sports movies of all time, with all the glowing numbers in Rochester, the AAA numbers from the rotation we showed you before, and the Twins' stance has been, well, our guys are here. They need to pitch better, and we're seeing some signs that they're starting to pitch better. Now, Hughes has been good throughout. Bautista now in center field, and Tolleson goes to right. Nunez fouling it. And so the Twins, counting on Gibson continuing to pitch okay, but really counting on improvement from Correa, and they saw what they wanted to see last night to that regard, or in that regard. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Hoosiers, and early in the movie Gene Hackman tells everybody, hey, this is our team. This is our team. You can worry about so on and so forth. Jimmy, I think, was the guy, the hero everybody wanted on the team, but this is our team. Well, that's kind of what the Twins have said. This is our starting rotation, and crossing their fingers all the while, hoping that things would get better, and maybe that's what we're seeing now in June.
Pretty consistent offense, very, very much improved in my opinion. And then you add a Morales, who instantly has picked up this ball club. Maybe Joe Mauer starts hitting the ball. He's 2 for 2 in today's game. There's a lot of upside. There's a lot of hope. Pitching can look a lot better with run support. And then you get contributions like Phil Hughes, even Correa's outing yesterday. Tough first 2 innings, but he got through it and then pitched very well after that. So signs of improvement.
Deep down the left field line. And what's the call?
Fan caught it, but no effort whatsoever from third base umpire Sean Barber.
Yeah,
it's a foul ball, but I guess he doesn't have to show anybody that it was.
I didn't see the fan catch the ball.
No, you did.
There it is. 2-2. Right field, Tolleson catches the liner for the first out. Coming up on Friday, June 20th, you can help the Twins celebrate the 2014 All-Star Game by collecting your Harmon Killebrew 1965 All-Star Game bobblehead presented by Pepsi. Special collectible limited to the first 10,000 fans at the gate. Then after the game, stay for the fireworks presented by the Black Hills and Badlands of South Dakota. Call 833-TWINS or go to twinsbaseball.com. Short homestand again. Twins come home from this long road trip for just 4, then back on the road for a week. The highlight of the homestand for me, finally, the Twins are having their tryout camp when we're at home. I got one more chance. One more chance.
You know, I bet if you ask Gardy, you could get a personal tryout.
Chopper to first, stepping on the bag, now firing to second. It is an inning-ending double play. The Twins are done in the 8th, leading 6-0. Ballpark for the Twins. Won a good ball game last night, shutting out the Blue Jays. So far, they've shut them out thanks to the right arm of Phil Hughes. What a magnificent performance for Hughes. 7 shutout innings.
7 innings, 7 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Pitching, defense, and run production all on display here at Rogers Center from the Minnesota Twins today.
And Jared Burton comes out of the pen to hopefully do what he did in the 8th inning last night. Pitch a nice, tidy, efficient 8th inning. Facing a lot of the same batters. He faced Bautista, Encarnacion, and Lind last night. He'll face Cabrera, Bautista, and Encarnacion here in the 8th. Outside, ball 1. Now 2-0. Had a couple days off, had such a quick time of it. He's being asked to do the same thing again here. There's a strike on the outside corner.
Well, the one thing he understands is I've got a 6-run lead. I've got to throw strikes. That's exactly what Phil Hughes did. He was working ahead all day long.
It's the first 3-ball count of the night, and it comes with Burton's first batter, Melky Cabrera. And he hits the corner to fill the count. Missed outside. Cabrera takes a leadoff walk. Francisco Liriano, discomfort in his right side. Only one win on the season. He was a big reason the Pirates got to the playoffs last year with 16 wins. Bautista, the batter, single and a couple of flyouts to right, including a really nice play by Arcia. First pitch strike.
If you were wondering, Phil Hughes, his distribution of outs, 11 fly ball outs, 1 ground ball out, and 9 strikeouts.
Left pitch up. It's a swinging strike. Foul ball 0-2. Drilled to left center. Now we're on the gap. High off the wall. An 0-2 pitch cracked for an RBI double. And the Blue Jays score a run. The first run they scored since Pillar's blue hit that ended the game Monday night.
Well, I hate to bring it up again, but a leadoff walk somehow manages to come in to score. First run for the Jays. Bautista gets a ball out over the plate with 2 strikes. Kind of a mistake pitch. You don't want to do that to these guys. Picks up an RBI.
Okay, a walk, a double, and Burton's job here is to make sure nothing mushrooms with Encarnacion at the plate.
Maybe some activity already. I'm not going to let this get too far out of hand.
Strike on the outside corner. In front of the changeup 0-2, and he's got Encarnacion where he had Bautista before. You can hang a fastball, can't you? Looked like he hung a fastball to Bautista. They got creamed. You hear of a hanging curveball, but you can hang a fastball too, can't you?
I would say, yeah, it's almost got hit me written all over it.
1-2.
Ever wonder where that expression came from?
A hanging curveball?
Yeah, why is it hanging?
I know they get hit a long way.
There's a lot of silliness in describing certain things, is my point.
1-2. Encarnacion. And there's strike 3, a foul tip, and Suzuki hangs on. And there's the first out. And now Adam Lind.
Jared Burton getting Edwin Encarnacion chasing on this one. It's like more a case where Edwin just swung through a pitch.
A slider that didn't slide
spun,
much at all, but
broke a little bit. Edwin over the top of it, and Suzuki does a good job of hanging on to the foul tip.
Adam Lind, the batter. Pulled through the hole to right. Bautista will be held. And again, Suzuki has to short hop a throw, a walk, a couple of sharp base hits. And an ominous start to this 8th inning here. Only 1 out on the board. Brett Laurie with a single his last time up. Laurie hit a grand slam against Burton at Target Field earlier this year. Fly ball, right center, very short, right center. Escobar out. Arcia coming in, making the catch, out number 2. You remember the game. Burton had problems throwing, and Arcia jumping all over Escobar. Burton had problems throwing strikes. With 2 outs, he walked the bases loaded, and then Laurie golfed 1 out.
Well, the outfielder has right to call off the infielder there, and I think Arcia coming in on the play it's a better play for him to try to get the runner who might advance.
Navarro will hit for Kratz. Only giving up any runs when you're on the mound, but you can get out of this inning with just the 1 run allowed. Game still is under control. Navarro 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter. Navarro, a switch hitter. It's about the same from each side of the plate. Leadoff walk and a pair of hits, but now a pair of outs in the 8th. Flips the outside corner. Runner goes, Twins don't care. That's a fair ball down the line. Bautista scores handily, and Lind held at third. Navarro just grounding one over the bag and out of Mauer's reach. Third hit of the inning. It's 6-2. Steve Tollefson will bat, and that'll be the end of the day for Jared Burton, who had a great night last night. But an awful 8th inning here today. Leadoff walk started things. 3 hits have followed. So a pitching change with 2 gone in the 8th, and the Jays making some noise. And the results not what they had hoped. Casey Fiend will come in and try to get the final out of the 8th inning here. Collison the batter. With the Jays finally getting on the board with at least 2 here in the 8th inning. Fiend was on the mound, gave up a couple of hits, gave up the game-winning hit in the 9th inning on Monday night. Collison singled his last time up.
And because of that, in part, Glenn Perkins is up and throwing now too.
To right field, and Arcia back, and the Jays get 2. 1 pitch gets the job done in the 8th for Casey Fiend. Casey Fiend with some relief pitching. One pitch got the final out of the 8th. Brett Cecil comes in for the Blue Jays. I don't know where the Twins would be, but I know where a lot of their fans would be without Kendrys Morales' 3-run double on the edge of their seats. As it is, we go to the 9th with the Twins leading by 4.
The numbers for Brett Cecil this year.
Navarro takes over behind the plate. Escobar, who entered the game in the 4th inning. Dozier left with some lower back tightness. And now ball 2. And Dozier was involved in a collision in the outfield, came out a couple innings later, but for all we know, it just could be the wear and tear of running around on this turf. It's not like it used to be where, of course, the Twins played all their home games on turf and there were more fields around than there are now. As it is, it's just Tampa Bay and here in the American League, and that's it.
You talk to Gardy, and Brian Dozier never wants to come out of a game. And maybe he just decided, you know what, this is as good a chance as I have to get you out of a game, give you a couple days rest.
Twins have an off day tomorrow in Detroit. They're strike 2. And if they finish this game off, they will finish this 20-game stretch, 20 games in 20 days, with an 8-12 mark. 2-2 to Escobar. And a sharp single to center. The little leadoff man is on the 9th. And a big turn at first, and Escobar does a belly flop back to the bag.
That ought to get some laughs in the dugout. You can't knock a guy for trying to be aggressive. He was going to see if Bautista had any kind of hiccup out at center field and decides that I better get back.
There's Mauer, who's reached his last 3 times, 2 hits and a walk. Up and away, ball 1. More importantly than the 8-12 mark, the Twins obviously would have liked to have done better during that stretch of 20 games. The Twins will finish it and be no worse than 4.5 games out of first place. Because while they have struggled during that stretch, the Tigers have struggled even worse.
Tigers have opened the door to this division. Twins 3 games behind in the win column. And the Cleveland Indians, of all people, tied with the Tigers in the win column.
2-1. Just a 4.5 game spread between first place and last place. Just 2 games between second place and last place. It is baseball's tightest division. National League East has a 7.5 game spread, top to bottom. Bauer fouls it back. We believe the count to be 2-2. The scoreboard here has 1-2. We know Mauer has 2 strikes.
And he still does.
Yes, he does. It's amazing. You look at the American League Central against the East. Everybody in the American League Central has a winning record against the American League East.
It's just kind of the opposite of a year ago. The East was so much more dominant than the Central.
You get this far into the season with roughly 100 games to go. Here's a 2-strike pitch to Mauer. And a liner to center. He's got 3 hits and a walk in his last 4 plate appearances. First and second, nobody out. Century link to what's next. After an off day tomorrow, the Twins open up a 3-game series at Comerica Park. Anibal Sanchez, who had to leave a start against the Twins.
I don't know if that's right.
That's right. They changed their rotation.
Be pitching on Saturday.
It's going to be Drew Smiley going Friday, and then Sanchez on Saturday. But Kyle Gibson is going for the Twins. And because of the rainout, the Tigers juggled their rotation. Their next 2 starts will be from Verlander and Scherzer, meaning the Twins won't have to face those 2. There's Willingham, swing and a miss. Anyway, you get to this point of the season, and it's fun to do. You talk about the strengths and weaknesses of teams, of divisions, and I think the American League Central is perceived to be not the strongest division in baseball, but balanced against what they've done against the East. It's pretty clear who the worst division is in the American League, and it's the team, the division that the Blue Jays are leading right now. Tampa Bay has the worst record in baseball.
It's funny how from year to year things can change like this. The Blue Jays very disappointed in their overall record last year, and they're much improved, although it looks as though they could lose their 4th game in 5 days. But very, very good offensive team, and they're winning. Tampa Bay, they've got a 15-game lead going in today's game against Tampa, who a year ago was contending for the division.
Two and 1 to Willingham. 3-1. Nice block by Navarro. Well, Tampa Bay is really struggling scoring runs. They've got decimated pitching staff, the rotation, closer issues. It's
kind of a mess down there.
Yes, it is right now.
Worst record in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays.
3-1 to Willingham. Morales on deck. And if you wanted to say that the American League West was the best division in the American League, you will get no argument from the Minnesota Twins. Check swing, but it's a strike, I believe. Yep. Willingham started unbuckling, but it's a full count. Twins were swept by Oakland. Haven't played the Angels yet. They played everybody else, and the Twins have just a 4-9 mark against the West.
Everybody assumed you could just roll over Houston, but they were playing very well and won the series in Minnesota against the Twins.
There's not a team in the Central that has a winning mark against the West. Full count, nobody out, 2 men aboard for Willingham. He had a 2-run home run to start the scoring here back in the 1st inning. Busted his bat, he'll get a hit. Rounding third, Escobar being waved home. Throw off target. Willingham has an RBI single, and the 9th inning starts with 3 singles and so far an insurance run.
Good base running right there by Eduardo Escobar. So Graver taking a chance and sending him. Why not? Picks up a big run right there. Again, now the Twins have a five-run cushion, I guess, and that's all good. It's not a safe situation, so it'll be interesting. Glenn Perkins had been warming up.
My guess is he'll get in.
He'll probably still come in because they don't want to overwork Fiend.
Here's Morales. Should be 2. 1 and 2. 2 down, and Bauer advances to 3rd. We'll bring up Arcia. Perkins was warming up. He is warmed up. Everybody has an off day tomorrow. He pitched in a non-save situation last night. We'll see how the Twins play it. Oh, looks like Perkins going to put the jacket back on out in the bullpen. Inside. Fiend entered the game in the 8th inning in, believe it or not, a save situation. The tying run was in the on deck circle, so if he's asked to get the last 3 outs and succeeds, he'll get a save.
Yeah.
Rifle to right. And Tollison with a nice running catch. Arcia hit that ball right on the button. An insurance run for the Twins in the top of the ninth. Thank you, my friend. Casey Feed will have a chance to pick up his first major league save. All he has to do is get the 3 outs needed here in the ninth. Got the final out of the 8th on his first pitch. Will face Francisco to start the ninth. To this point, there's a strike on the outside corner. To this point, starting the 27th inning of at bats here in Toronto against the Blue Jays, the Twins have allowed runs in only 4 of those innings. The 3, the 1, and the 1 Monday night, nothing last night, and a couple of runs here in the 8th. So if you're hopeful that Twins pitching is going to improve, some encouraging signs coming out of Toronto. 2 strikes to Francisco. Just missed the corner. Foul back. It'll be Francisco, then Reyes, and Cabrera. Five pitches, 4 strikes since entering the ball game. One foul. Twins haven't won the season series with Toronto since the 05 season. Twins team that year barely finished above 500. Another 1-2 from Casey Fiend. 2-2.
Blue Jays scored their 2 runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning with a leadoff walk.
High fly to center. Santana going back. And now coming in, 1 down.
And Casey Fiend challenging him. Didn't want that leadoff walk. Danny Santana, tough play right there. That ball was hit high. Dome here. The roof at Rogers Center is closed. It's a little hard to pick up balls sometimes. He had to go all the way to the wall, come back, get that. But first out of the inning, very important.
Could make a case, I suppose, that Twins were a leadoff walk away from potentially sweeping this series. It was a leadoff walk in the 9th by Matt Guerrero that allowed the Blue Jays to eventually score their winning run in the 9th on Monday night. 1-0 to Jose Reyes. And on the left, and Willingham running towards the line will put that away. Well, to me, the highlight of the day was the starting pitcher, and you in your career were known as having a great finishing kick. Exhibit A, of course, the World Series Game 7, but here was Hughes, who really didn't have much trouble through 5 innings, but he ran into trouble in the 6th and overpowered his way out of the 6th, and the same in the 7th inning.
Very impressive. Phil Hughes pitched an outstanding ball game. Took the momentum away from the Blue Jays and the one opportunity they had to maybe gain some. Got his team back in the dugout. Just a great effort for Phil Hughes. Looks like he's on his way to pick up his 7th win of the season.
1-1.
1 out away. If Casey Fiend can get this out right here, he'll pick up his first major league save, and all good.
And now 1-2. Going to be a good team. You better have a short memory. It could have been a debilitating loss for the Twins here on Monday, and come back with arguably their best back-to-back games of the season in the unfriendly environment here at the Rogers Center. One and two. One and two to Melky Cabrera. And got a piece to stay alive. Again, Fiend gets a save here if he gets the 3rd out because of the situation he entered in the 8th, not anything that was here in the 9th inning. And Fiend finishes off an impressive series for the Minnesota Twins as they have taken the Toronto season series 4-2.
Minnesota Twins pick up another road win. They've got a better record on the road than they do at home this year, and they faced a very tough hitting lineup here. It was an impressive series. It should give them some momentum as they go into Detroit in their own division. They can win 2 out of 3 there. They're going to be well on their